Test 1 2, audio test 1 2. All right. Hey, folks. Welcome to the stream. I just wanted to talk about a few things. For those who do not know me, my name is Ben, Senior Product Manager at Tilting Point Games, Game Manager for Star Trek Timelines. We had originally planned to do a different stream today, one that was much more, fun and creative and exciting, but we felt that it was inappropriate due to the ongoing issues stemming from the release of 10.00 and Continuum equipment. So we'd like to just give you a brief walkthrough, kind of explain what happened, what we're doing next, and then sticking around for a little bit to answer a few questions in the chat before getting back to it. So I just want to make sure everyone can hear me good. Everything's all right. Okay. So the story of 10.00 and the Continuum features dates back to Q4 of 2022. At the time, the internal development team with Wicked Realm Games took on a feature development for a feature to progress Immortalized Crew. In January of 2023, that development team was unfortunately part of the reduction in force and restructuring, and the work for that feature was put on ice. The next goal was to have our existing development resources transition all live operations and deliver the quality of life client, and to continue our content releases without missing a beat. Once that was successfully delivered, we greenlit the Continuum feature work back in very early Q3 for 2023. Then development concluded. We tested, regressed, and fixed bugs with our existing QA team, many of which who have been on the project since the days back at Disruptor Beam, along with Joe and myself. So, the launch. After completing backwards compatibility regression on the client, we proceeded to rolling out the client and release. So Thursday, October 19th, we began the client release process with Steam and Facebook, platforms we usually release with first. We concluded that rollout with Android on October 26th. During this time, myself, many members of the development team, continued testing the feature on production with dev accounts in private cohorts to play the feature. And on Monday at noon Eastern, Joe, the development team, and I entered what we call a war room, where we force update to 10.00 across all platforms and turned on the features for everyone. After playing through the feature once again, we adjusted the start time to 12:30 from 1 o'clock, which triggered a string of issues to come. So at 1 o'clock, an error in the rescheduling job caused the Continuum missions to reset without all the details being correct. This caused several issues. First, the Continuum missions in progress were reset for all players that were playing since 12:30. Away missions in the episodes were blocked on the main storyline, and then subsequent scheduled Continuum missions had miscellaneous bad data, leading to lack of access and disappearing DAGs for players. We immediately began investigating and rescheduling and rescheduled the initial set of Continuum missions to the correct time for the reset, which illuminated some of the issues mentioned. Investigations continued, and the missions were once again reset early the next day. Our first post-release deployment corrected the fix for the issue causing the Continuum missions to reset against the scheduled parameters. We continued to investigate the broken away missions and blocked access to the Continuum missions that were presenting a variety of different ways to the player base. After development of a script, we were able to correct the majority of accounts access to away missions and Continuum missions on November 3rd. However, some Continuum missions within the feature were inaccessible to some players, along with a handful of other unresolved issues. On November 4th, we released our global compensation for the resolutions of various levels of access for those players who experienced and or continue to experience certain Continuum missions being blocked. Please submit a ticket to player support for individual resolution. We are still in process of unblocking some accounts from Continuum as well, but definitely send in a ticket and we can address that as soon as possible. Lastly, with our deployment yesterday, November 8th, we corrected an exploit where some players were able to claim multiple chain rewards. That is fixed. We are so incredibly frustrated with the state of this launch. We are also so relieved to see that the community came through to help identify and provide valuable information to aid in resolving the issue. A lot of you have voiced concern over not repeating this again, which is a concern that we also share. And I do want to give a shout out to a lot of the admins on the Discord channel, being giving us a lot of information. Joe and I were very active in the Discord channel, and all of you that were in there were very helpful in getting us the information we needed to resolve the issues quickly. So we appreciate that. So what's next? As we continue to improve the experience to the best of our ability, we will conduct a post-mortem on the client to see more in depth what went wrong, how it happened, why didn't we see it, and evaluate the impacts in various live issues to the game and address processes, personnel, and strategy to correct this for the future. In the meantime, we are collecting feedback to improve on the Continuum experience and consider for a quality of life client in 2024. So we'd love to hear your feedback on the forums. So thank you for listening. I'm available for a few minutes to answer some questions from the chat, if anyone has any. Take any questions if anyone has any for a few minutes here. What's my favorite punk band? Oh, geez. My favorite band is a local band, 4 Year Strong, local to me, out of Worcester, Massachusetts. A huge fan, have been for years. I would say that one. Can't go wrong with Blink 182. Um, State Champs is a good one as well. The equipment flavor text is awesome and my favorite part of the release so far. Who wrote them? I believe our designers wrote them, or actually, I think it was our writers. Our writer wrote it, Amber. She's great. We're actually hoping to get her on for a future stream to kind of talk about the writing that she does for the game, and kind of teach you guys everything that she does behind the scenes. So we're excited for that one as well. Any idea when the next quality of life release will be worked on? So right now we're focused on fixing the remaining Continuum bugs. Still, there's still some folks that are blocked for Continuum that um, engineering team is currently working on, hoping to have people unblocked tomorrow. The rest of the people unblocked tomorrow, and then we have a fix or two that we need to get out around Continuum to prevent the blocking of these accounts. So we're fixing those bugs. After that, we're going to be focusing on a kind of intermediate client, 10.0.1. Not too much to say around that right now, but I can talk about that probably in a month or two, or probably in a month. And then 10.1.0, so quarter one will be the next quality of life client. So I would say starting development on that probably very, very late Q4 or early Q1. Any timetable on when the new offer wall will go live? I'll have to take a look at that. There is no offer wall on. There should be no offer wall on iOS. We're ever gonna get automatic voyage returns upon hitting the 180 antimatter mark. Automatic voyage returns, probably not. We do have a notification. If you play on mobile, you should get a notification saying that your antimatter is low. So I recommend having the notifications turned on for that specifically. But we don't have anything in the roadmap currently for automatic voyage returns. Are there any plans to add qubits to the celestial market? No plans to do that at this time. That is a good idea, but no plans. Will a timer be displayed on the UI to show when Continuum missions reset? Yes, they should be. The way that that system works is that we have missions that are scheduled to start, and then once we schedule the next set, you should see a timer on the main splash screen of that feature. The reason why we haven't scheduled the next batch yet, excuse me, is because we don't want to be scheduling more and more of these, as we have a lot of fixes still continuing to happen. So we don't want to make things more complicated than they need to be at this point. But yes, as of right now, missions will reset at the daily reset on Tuesdays, Tuesday morning Eastern. And then after we get these remaining bug fixes out, we'll be able to schedule out multiple weeks of Continuum missions. So from then, at that point, you'll be able to see the timer there. How will you ensure that this doesn't happen again? Why was the time of the live launch of Continuum changed by 30 minutes, causing all the problems? Well done, though, for all who worked hard on timelines. I appreciate that. Yeah, so we ended up changing the time. We booked out, an hour-long meeting. This was something that, going through all the final checks that we did, everything looked good. And we still actually had some time to spare before the original start date. And so, in talking with our engineers, we figured out that it should be safe to switch the time there, which there was an issue with the tool on the back end, which is frustrating, and something that we definitely learned from, and something that we will have to take, we totally take accountability for. It's something that we learn from and kind of move forward. Yes, it is very, very frustrating. This is, was not the launch that we had in mind. But we just got to learn from it and move forward. Yeah, I mean, that's how it happened. And, we just got to learn from it, move forward. Why are the Continuum missions so overpowered? Mine started out with a medic trait, 1500. I've been playing for a couple of years, but I do not have a medic that comes anywhere near that. So we went around balancing it many different ways. So a lot of the balancing does take into account a lot of the buffs from fleets from the star bases, and then some buffs from completing some collections and making some progress and milestones on collections. So if you're not part of a fleet, I recommend joining one, just to get some additional bonuses there. And then if you have a lot of crew that are kind of almost completed or collections that are close to a milestone, I recommend trying to complete some milestones there to try to get some buffs around there. But yes, I mean these are difficult missions, and that was the idea behind it, the balancing that we wanted to go for. The QOL thing for me would be able to see which crew have opened slots equipment in the crew select screen when you run Continuum mission. Yeah, that's a great point. Definitely post that feedback on the forums. I believe we have a thread on the forums for feedback. We're going to be having a meeting here soon around what feedback that we want to take and move forward and have actionable items for, which will directly impact our 10.1.0 client early next year. Any idea what percentage of people play of Steam versus mobile? I do have an idea. I would say around without looking at the data itself, I would say around maybe 10 to 20%, 10 to 15%, 15 and 20%, somewhere around there. But I'll leave that nice and vague. Are you thinking about allowing beta tests with a uh, subset of the player community to help test large feature rollouts in the future? This is something that we have done in the past. We did it on the live version. I think when this was way back one of my first months on the job. The honor hall. I believe we beta that. We have to be very careful about doing beta tests, especially on the live product, because there are a lot of this game is considered a competitive game. So any new feature that we release that has a competitive advantage against other folks, that's a players don't like that, and that's something that we don't want to do as well. So, but moving forward, yeah, this does bring up a bigger kind of question around getting more eyes on the product before the initial launch. So that is something that we are going to talk about probably in the post-mortem discussion to figure out how we do it, and then figure out if it's a possibility. But it is something that we are thinking about and discussing. Any exciting new crew coming up that you can talk about? Also, any word on Baked Potato Chicote coming to the Honor Hall? I don't know about Baked Potato Chicote, is that we do have someone scheduled coming up here soon for Honor Hall. I don't know if that's the one you're referring to, but any other exciting new crew? Really don't want to spoil anything. Let me look real quick. Maybe I can answer that question. I heard there is a lot of want for another Chakotay, which is interesting. Let's see what we got going on. See if I can tease something. We do have a Pike coming up in a few weeks. We have a Kim coming up in a few weeks. And we have a new ship that I'm excited for. And a Ortegas as well. That's about all I'm willing to share. Awesome. Any last minute questions? Okay, doesn't seem like there's anything else. Awesome. So I just want to thank everyone for joining the stream. I really we really appreciate the support that we've gotten. And obviously not the launch that we wanted, but we we remain committed to this game, and we always will moving forward. So we are still really excited about what this future can bring to the game. So we have some work ahead of us to resolve a few of these issues and unblock some folks. But we do really appreciate everyone being patient with us as we figure this out. As we do know, once players get into this feature and really play it, we think you guys are really going to enjoy it and like it. So again, thank you from myself, from Joe, and from the rest of the Star Trek Timelines team.